All right, serious mode. Booty come. Is this actually helping you?
I like it. It's a little back support.
Got all the support I need in my life. I respect that.
Yep, that's the one. That's the blooper. That's the one. Hi guys, I'm taking over the intro today. Welcome to the season of Anya,
where we talk about all things magic with a little sprinkling of the healing journey along the way. Today, I am so excited to bring my beloved moon sister here, Daena, to the channel. Welcome, Daena.
Hi, witches. How y'all doing? Super excited to be asked to be on this channel today.
Daena is my moon sister. We have a little thing in our coven. So I'm Anya. She's Daena. Together,
Daena!
So with that, this video is going to be
chaotic, wild, spontaneous,
spooky.
Ooh, the Daena. I want to apologize in advance, but also you can't contain the Daena. You just can't.
It's chaos magic, and we are hoping and knowing you are here for it. So, without further ado, you see us sipping on anything? This is just our grape juice.
Grape juice. Cheers.
Cheers to the grape juice.
To all the new subscribers, channelers, videosers, whatever the ers you are. Welcome to the season of Anya Witches.
With that said, today we're gonna do a little discussion here with working with the Book of Shadows. So, to begin, here is the book.
The Books of Shadows. Shadow books. Also known as grimoire, journal, notebook, section on your phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Note takey thingy majing.
Right.
Miss Daena, let's begin with what the hell are you supposed to do with one?
Right?
How do you create it? What's it about?
What is this? So, Book of Shadows, this is a really fun video for Anya and I to do together because one thing that we really bonded on early on is our love of our Book of Shadows. So each of us work with it in a slightly different way, but we both definitely resonate with the power that your Book of Shadows has and the wonderful way that it could be a documentation of your witchy journey. So for me, my little tangent to start with about your Book of Shadows, it's just that. It's a documentation of your journey. And I do want to start with, I know that so many witches, especially witches who are coming into this for the first time in this lifetime, a Book of Shadows is intimidating. You see, people like ours who they're thick, they're filled with it. We barely have any pages left in it. It's filled with all this epic magic of awesomeness. And how could I possibly, I had a witch once say, how do I get a tome like that? I'm like, girl, you make it. You make it yourself. Every single one of our Book of Shadows started with a brand new book and empty pages. And each one of us questioned what special pen should I use to write in it? Or should I start with pencil so I can outline later and erase what I need to? And all these dauntingness that comes with it. And you're never going to get a complete Book of Shadows unless you start your Book of Shadows.
Start it. Rule number one.
Start it, write in it, use it. And one of the great things that I had gotten advice on with starting my first year in a day with my Book of Shadows was to document my first year in a day of new moons and full moons. So what I did was I took the first chunk of my book and I just, in one afternoon, pre-wrote out all of my little prompts for the new moon and the full moons. And I had a wonderful opportunity of working with an active coven at the time. So we had a lot of things we were going to be doing. So it was really helpful for me to have those prompts in advance. Now, on the flip side of those prompts, after my first year in a day, I was like, hell yeah, I recorded all my rituals. It was great. Now I have the first fourth of my book taken up by documentations of my rituals, and now I have no extra pages to write my rituals on. So, bonus feature you can do with your Book of Shadows.
Yes.
I decided to take each one of those first couple of, the first fourth of my book that had all of my, meetings on there of what I documented, and I taped paper on top of it, and I used that space to record something we're going to talk about later, but future workings that you do, it's helpful to write those in your Book of Shadows. So what I also gained by doing that was secret knowledge. Dun, 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 dun. I have a mysterious Book of Shadows with secret knowledge. I mean, really, it's just recordings of what we did that afternoon, which was usually fun stuff, but, you never really know. Break.
Oh, no power mode. Let's do this. All right, we're back. We're back.
Ooh, it glitched for a second. That was weird. But yeah, so spooky. But yeah, hidden knowledge is great to be able to like kind of have in my book and just say that I have hidden knowledge in my book, no matter how cool or not cool it is.
But at the same time, don't let that intimidate you. Hidden knowledge is knowledge we find within ourselves.
Yes.
Knowledge we connect with. It's not about where can I find on the dark web the witch's spell cast and all this. It's about practical knowledge. It's about using your knowledge. It's not about filling every page right away. Although, look, that was me. That was me. I was like, I'm going to work on a pretty book of shadows. I'm going to make this the book of shadows. This is going to be the knowledge keeper.
It's going to be a book from Charmed.
Oh, goals though, right?
Goals though, right?
But on that note, it's true. It's about using it and reusing the content you have in there and actually connecting with it. Because sometimes too, when we do these workings, when we connect with our book as a beginner, especially, it's like, okay, I'm just kind of like writing in here. Don't really know what to do with it. It's kind of like, all right, I guess I'm going to put things in there, right? We're either afraid that it's going to be ugly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got some rough workings in here, but here's the thing.
Which fears it?
Oh yeah. We want it to be pretty. We're all aesthetic. Come on. Instagram, hello. But with that, it's okay if get the material in there at a later date. And Daena is the queen of this. She's got some cool stuff in there, like she was saying earlier. But like I have gotten through my book so many times now because I'm not ready to let it go yet, but I have prettified it. And that's okay because sometimes you just got to get it in there, especially if you're working with a coven. We have so much useful information, whether it's shadow work prompts, whether it's like just a cool working that resonates. We got to get it down. We can't be like, oh, I'll do it someday. No.
Yes.
Consistent.
Right. It out.
Do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that.
Awesome. So that was my little bit, how to create Book of Shadows. That's to nutshell, my advice is just writing it, do it, maybe write out some pre-prompts on your first year and a day with moon cycles with it. That's kind of my little tidbits. Any last tidbits we've got from Miss Anya on your how to create the Book of Shadows?
First of all, I really do like that idea. So if you're not doing that, I'd recommend it because it's just a nice, consistent, linear flow to follow. If it resonates.
Yeah.
Theme of witchcraft. Does it resonate? Does it feel authentic? But real talk, does it?
Mm-hmm.
For me, too much ADHD for that. So for me, personally, mine ended up, I wrote what I was interested in at the time. It's as simple as that. It's not about, I'm going to learn all things magic and herbology and tarot and this, because then again, you get lost. You're not it's more so a copy paste versus a, how can I connect with tarot? What's going to help me connect with this? So with that, like for me, I got some numerology in there. I have oh my God, please do not butcher the word, the tarot suits. Oh my,
suits!
Not sweets.
Not sweets.
I did it. But I have that. And for me personally, for me, it's a lot of workings. I have a separate journal for my thoughts, whether they are witchy related or not, but I that's a whole thing in itself because that is my season.
Yeah, actually, that's such a good point. We didn't even kind of touch about this in our pre-notes meeting. But that is a very, very good point and something that I've done as well too. I've kept what I call my Book of Shadows, my grimoire, and then I have my working journal where if I'm going to an event and I want to take notes so that later I can write that in my Book of Shadows, I have more of like a notesy journal that I take with me that I jot down my notes on so that I can then later transfer it to my nicer Book of Shadows. And so, yeah, having multiple Book of Shadows is great too. Having one real solid hard copy, but also having that practice journal so that you can just scribble down, make whatever editations, that's a good word, any edits you would like, to then transfer into your BOS.
Absolutely. And then, over time, like I like to take like kind of do art Book of Shadows.
Artsy.
I try to be a little artsy from time to time. But go on Google. Like this is something I actually learned from working with the cottage. But, like simple. Go on Google and get a fancy picture and type it out if you don't like how it looks or you want to put that energy into it. Because again, right? When we're looking, I know I keep showing this working. Let me find anything else.
But no, she's very right. I have definitely typed out rituals that were going to be too long. I have carpal tunnel, so sometimes writing can be really hard for me. So I have definitely typed out rituals and then taped that in my BOS.
God, I don't know.
Sorry.
We're gonna have to figure out how to edit.
Woo! Type that bad boy into my BOS.
There it is. There it is. But exactly. First of all, typing is like straight up. Now, if I'm gonna sit down and write out a ritual, write out a working, if I have the notion to do it ahead of time, it's going straight into my computer because modern technology. We get pretty pictures.
Grandma would use a computer if she had it.
That's right.
We don't have to stick to the ways that the old witches did of writing on scrolls made of papyrus paper or whichever. That is what they had at the time. Utilize the modern technology. Grandma would if she had it.
Although quill, I bought one once. I never used it, but it was a goal. Okay, bragging over here. Whatever, rude. Yeah, so, that's what it's about. Get a cool picture, and plus too, like, you can sit on it for a while, you can copy, paste, shift it around, and that's where you get, like, a flow. And that's where it becomes your own, especially, this is a tangent, but especially when you're writing, it becomes your own personal poetry. It becomes your own dedication, whatever it is. It's not about, again, I just want to keep saying this, it's not about copying and pasting. Mm-hmm. It's about a spell, about a working, that you're using and you continue to use. You go back to it. You revisit it. And the more you revisit it, the more you're familiar with it. And it creates and builds into something so beautiful that's yours. Mm-hmm. And it's authentically yours because you're using it.
Yes.
So, with that.
Woo! All right, we gotta move on.
We got notes.
What do you put in a Book of Shadows? That's such a good question. Like, what should you put in? I know we kind of talked a little bit about it earlier about prompts. So to put in, if you're really unsure and you just want to get in the habit of writing in your Book of Shadows, then I'm highly going to recommend making some prompts for the moon cycles or whatever cycles work for you. Maybe the Sabbat cycles, maybe, first of the month cycles, whatever cycle works for you. The point of it is to get you consistently writing and to feel comfortable writing in your Book of Shadows. Because as we talked about, one of the biggest things that stops witches from doing it is the nervousness of writing in it that first time. So let's just break that through and just cut that out of the way and just start writing in it.
Well, in Witchy Confession, this one's not technically done, but I'm like, I have someone give me this cool journal. I'll be honest, I've not really done much to it because even I still get paralyzed in my own fear, and it's not what it's about. It's just about doing it. It's about using it.
Yes.
Making it your own. So
yeah, and we keep highlighting that because we want you witches to understand you're not alone with these fears. That is something that each witch fears, and something a little bit about that camaraderie can make us feel a little bit better.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
it's about how real. It's about people who are doing this stuff and how they use it. And for me, that's personally changed my practice because again, it's like I can read this information on the internet, but it doesn't resonate. This is how we make the magic in our workings and our spiritual practice resonate with us. And we will, in my blog and everywhere, I mean, that is what it's about. It's about consistency and it's about what you are called to. And
yes.
With that too, everyone has a different approach. So we'll start with how I like to open my Book of Shadows. Personally, also, it's great to keep notes and don't be afraid to throw notes.
I have notes all up in this thing is loose papers, just loose papers.
And hidden compartments, I'm told.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Me personally, I'm not one to potentially bless my book. Maybe the next one I will. And again, that's okay. I like to have, I'm a quote girl. I like, so there's not one path. There's not even one right path. There is only your path. And it's yours and how it feels to you, right? Make it cute.
Look at how stinking cute that is. Hate her. She's so artistic.
She is too. She just doesn't want to know it. We have a little cat here too. But I mean, I think that's really the gist of it. Other than that, I mean, personally to me, like any spiritual juju that you have, throw it in there. I'm a Reiki practitioner, so that's what's going in my Book of Shadows because I'm a Reiki witch, I'm a yoga witch, whatever the heck.
Yeah, no, things that you use. So one of the things, my Book of Shadows is it's one of the best tools that I have as a witch. I bust this out for majority of the workings that I'm doing. And a lot of that is the knowledge that I did decide to finally put in my book. Now I use the word finally because this is also another thing that holds witches back is you have all these ideas of things that you want to put in your book. I highly recommend dedicating a Sunday afternoon to just the things that you know that you're working with. I got a wonderful, wonderful courses taught over time by a beautiful Nordic witch from one of the first covens that I worked with about the Elder Futhark runes. Now, that's not something that I have any background nor heritage to, but this woman, you know, she looks like she's plucked from the little Viking ship itself, and she had so much great knowledge for me. And I took a couple of her courses and recorded them into my BOS, and for like 2 years straight, I was working nonstop with runes. And I just kept referencing my book. I have the different Sabbat cycles in there because, as you know, we are in a coven, and we're in a public coven that does a lot of public events, and so being able to constantly reference those has been extremely helpful. And what better way to do it than from grabbing a book and referencing from a book, which is great and all, but from grabbing your own book and looking at the experiences you've written down from working with each Sabbat and whatnot, and using that tool in your future workings. So it really depends on, as you're doing the workings, write them down in your book and then go back and reference them. Like I said, I've got Futhark runes in there. I've got a couple tarot bits in there.
Oh, yeah.
Got crystal stuff in there. Got a couple herb stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's always the herbs that I've worked with, because I found that it was too daunting to pre-write like a list of crystals and what do they mean. That was very daunting to me.
It is.
But instead, when I worked with an herb, I would go and I would write it down in my book. And that was so much more helpful. And I found later, when I wanted to reuse that herb, having my own experiences to back on was extremely helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And also too, I'm thinking, like, you know, whether it's personal practice or working with a group, some things that you may want to put in there too is a circle cast. Now, we're not going to get too much into what a circle cast is and all that, but if you have a way you open up space and connect with energies, put that in there. Because, I mean, straight up to your coven has a really long one that I still stumble upon, so it's nice to have like that little middle section written out. I remember.
It is.
Nice.
It is a long one.
One day I'll get it.
I have faith.
Yes. Exactly, you know, or if you're meditating too, like when my friends over at the House of Witchcraft, I was able to do a really cool meditation with Tesseract. You know, Tesseract, he's
love him.
Yep, moon brother of ours. He did a really cool meditation, and then afterwards, like, hey, let's what did we channel during that? Let's write it down, because sometimes we need to see these messages at a later point to actually understand what they mean during the time. Yes. So other than that, I mean, I think that's kind of really what I got. I got some chakra stuff in there. And also too, like, I mean, you notice Daena, she had a cute little, flowers in there, rose petals, same thing. I got some from a dark moon that we all did at the cottage at our where our coven is located. Put some of that energy in there. I love, especially with my personal journal, it's the way I open my journals, and it's a great way to open your Book of Shadows. If you are connecting with nature and feeling divinity and feeling spirit, whatever it is that is available to you, if it's just a leaf off a tree, if it's a blade of grass, if it's a dandelion, put it in there. It's the essence of nature, and it's about connecting with the spirit of the land and the spirit.
It also helps you pinpoint that exact moment when you were feeling divinity, when you saw that flower and you felt that moment kick, when you felt spirit within you. You know, keeping that moment can help preserve that moment.
Oh, that's so beautifully put. Oh, bye. I know.
Preserve it. Oh, we got a friend.
I know. You want that in the book too?
R.I.P. friend. Yeah. Another big thing about too is really creating your personality within your Book of Shadows as well too.
I like that.
I know we've got Miss Anya here, who is a beautiful, beautiful artist, and she has been gracious enough to host a couple of journaling BOS classes within her space. And I created one of my favorite intros to my own BOS through her little workshop that she was teaching, and it was so sweet and so beneficial. And as someone who is not artistic, it was so helpful having someone who was artistic helping me with that and adding those personalized touches that I didn't even realize my Book of Shadows needed, because it really has. I felt so much more connected with it since I put in those personalized touches. And I know one thing I ain't even trying to gas you up, girl, but I'll do it. I look at your BOS as inspiration, because I want to be more artsy than I am. And this little girl has truly it's a work of art, that thing. And, you know, I'm trying to convince her to do a whole video on how to make your BOS all beautiful and artsy, because she's got a cart and lists and supplies and patterns and whatnot. And so I won't tangent too much, but be creative with your BOS. Personalize it.
Well, I want to interject with that too. Like, if we can open up your book of shadows.
Take a little look-see.
What's cool about this too? Like, again, I love not that much. Yeah. Here, let me hold it.
She's better at that.
No, but let me preface it with, really quick. Look up. There's so many videos online. Look up art journaling, because what I really like, I can be artistic, but also sometimes I don't have the patience to like get in the like nitty gritty of art. I don't know if this is really going to pick up on camera, but there is some texture. There are some cool things in there. And here's the thing: you can buy a lot of this stuff. Like, this is like the texture and embossing we put in that. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but you can get, it's like spackle. You can get at the dollar store. Dollar store actually has some really good crafts. I mean, look, glitter. You got this when you were
from New Orleans,
yeah, and then put a little sealing on it. So actually, I really think we should do a video.
I did gold. Look, a little sparkled gold.
Gold leaf.
Yes. It was pretty.
Be bougie. Be cool with it. You know, have fun with it, and also little sigil.
Oh.
Cute. Yeah. So I think we should make that a future video, though. How fun!
I love that.
And then we have an excuse to do crafts.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. So next part of our little video.
Isn't she good? I'm like, where are we going with this? She is on it. I love her. So much.
Well, the next big question: how do you use your BOS? How do you use your Book of Shadows grimoire? My response is daily. Pull it out as much as possible. Give it love. Go back, reread it. But I know I touched upon this earlier, but I'm going to really highlight it right now. Write the workings you're going to do in your Book of Shadows. Something that helped me was pre-writing them. So again, I spoke on we're part of a coven that does these really great big rituals, but it means it's scheduled. So like I know that it's coming. So I know they're coming. So I can, before I go to whatever ritual that we're doing that day, I'm going to pre-write out that ritual in my BOS so that when the time comes and I'm sitting at ritual, first off, I can be egotistical and just look like I am, I got my Book of Shadows ready. It's pulled up in my spell as we are doing the working. I have my own personalized BOS ready. We're all aesthetic witches, don't deny it. And if you're not, I love and envy you, because give me that strength.
That's, yeah, I know. The bougie is what fuels us sometimes.
A little bit. But no, so pre-write out the ritual that you're going to do, because you, a lot of times after a working, you have that magic hangover. You're kind of dead. You don't really want to do too much work. And it's going to leave a space for procrastination and then a space for not doing it. And so by writing your rituals out beforehand, already in your BOS, you can have that aesthetic moment in ritual of reading out of your and two, future you is going to thank past you for doing that.
Absolutely. And actually, I want to interject with that too, because I think another great future video idea is discussing how to create spells. But also too, if this really calls to you, creating spells and workings and meditations, whatever you want to call them, you kind of gotta sit in that energy for a few days, because if you're trying to come up, it's Wednesday night. Oh shoot, there's the full moon. I don't know what to do. Two things. First of all, okay, if you actually are putting stuff in your Book of Shadows, you will always
have a fallback.
You will have a fallback.
I have used fallbacks for my book. You will have a fallback.
Real talk, though. Plan B, I am learning that very quickly. We need Plan B all the time.
Future you thanks past you.
Yes. But also, too, you got to sit with these energies a couple days. That way, when you are writing down the words and then speaking them, you are feeling them. Because it's not about, it's a reference. It's a reference, but our spiritual practice, witchcraft in general, is about how you feel in the moment. And if you decide to go off on a little tangent with the working you have, great. But again, when I give myself a couple days notice to try to sit in those energies, I have time to edit the working.
Yes.
And I have time to feel it. So that's already part of the magic. That's already part of the connection with divinity is the buildup. And then again, it's Wednesday night, it's a full moon. I don't got time. But since I've been sitting with those energies for a few days, I'm able to get it done efficiently, because it's 2023. We got stuff to do. We're busy.
We are hustling witches.
All it takes is 10 minutes sometimes.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be some grandiose, if you're into that and you have time for that,
You don't got to build Egypt every ritual.
Amen.
I made them build Egypt.
She's really artsy. She has. If you need a witch with production value, she is your girl. Let me tell you. I mean, we literally built. That was rad. Oh, Mr. Potato.
Oh, we did a potato head hunt with we were looking for the body. We won't tangent too hard, but if you look into Selwyn lore, there is a story about Osiris being just taken apart, and then his lover got to find his bits, and we did a Mr. Potato Head scavenger hunt to find it. It was the greatest thing. These witches are the best. They built me Egypt. We'll stop that tangent. We'll do a whole other video on all the things these witches have done for me. But in a nutshell, Book of Shadows. They good. Write your stuff. Write them down in your book.
Practice it.
Practice it.
Practice it.
Yes.
Even now on a consistency basis too. Ideally, right? We there's so many moon phases. I mean, like personally, I don't even work with the first quarter waning moon too much unless like I'm somehow like in the moment and creating something. But typically, show up twice a month. That's really all you got to do. Show up for the full moon, and then take your pick of the dark moon or the new moon. Well, that's a future video in itself.
For that video later.
I know,
Put
right?
in the comments if you know the difference between the new moon and the dark moon, because so many, and it's okay if you don't. So many witches do not know that. Shame. No, but so many witches do not know what the difference between a new moon and a dark moon is. And if you know it, drop it in the comments. If you don't, I highly suggest look it up because they're fun energies.
Yes. Well, and then again, that leads to don't bogart your information. This is not about I am superior. Again, right? Like low key aesthetically, we might have those little moments, and that's okay. But so many of my workings are, I mean, whether I keep opening the Reiki one, but a lot of these workings that I'm even looking at right now, like I saw the Ankh working we did, like this is information that's given to me, and in turn share it because knowledge is power. Beautiful.
Witches, what do you do with your Book of Shadows? Do you do artsy stuff with it? Is it a journal that you keep hidden underneath your kitchen desk that you pull out once a month? How do you create a personalized Book of Shadows? And if you don't, how do you want to create a personalized Book of Shadows?
Yes. It's about doing it, working with it, getting out there, and staying consistent. I would really urge all of you, make that dedication once a month. A year and a day, that's just, it's not an increment of time. It's more so a feeling. I don't want to get off on yet another tangent, but we are the Daena.
So it happens. I think we have kept our tangents to a minimum compared to what the Daena really is.
Oh my god.
If you're a cottage witch watching, tell us about the Daena tangents you heard in the comments, because we have had some tangents.
ADHD shadow, hey. But yeah, year and a day, it's about showing up consistently, working with it, and just doing it. I've already said that probably 5 times this video, but I really can't stress that enough.
It's a good point to stress.
Yeah, it really is. It's just doing it, working with it, and doing it again and again until it feels familiar and natural. It takes a long time to work with your Book of Shadows and for it to feel authentic. There were, up until maybe the last 3 years of my journey, I was kind of just using it, and I'm like, I don't know, I guess,
I have used my Book of Shadows so much. I don't know if you can tell. The first off, there's weird but pink green duct tape, and then there is clear duct tape that has all come around it. I have used this thing to its deathly point. This thing is such an integral part. Look at the front of this. I tried to do spirals there. They weren't good. It looks like garbage now. It's better than what I even tried to do. But this thing I have used to its last dying edge, and I will continue to push it until this thing is falling apart at the edges, because that's the relationship that I've built with it. And each of you can have that kind of relationship if you really put your heart and your soul into it.
Well, and that's what it's about, because we're putting, connecting with spirit is about connecting yourself to your heart and soul. And sometimes you need to reference that and commit to it and put it in there. And honestly, when I see this chick's Book of Shadows, she has put in the work and she is dedicated to it. And
I love it. Oh, baby.
Yeah. It's about your personal practice. It's about making it yours and loving up on it, because showing up for spirit, showing up in reference to the moon is not oh, I guess it's the moon, we should show up. It's about the commitment to yourself. And this shows commitment. Yes. And hey, a piece of paper an effort shows interest. It shows commitment in itself. So just do it. Get it out there. And
Just do it.
cute Shia LaBeouf. LaBeouf.
Yeah.
LaBeouf.
La bouffe.
LaBeouf.
La bouffe, your book. I don't know what that means, but just do it.
All
All right, witches.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
I
Oh my
think
god,
that's
did
it.
you just end a video? Oh my god.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh wait,
dun.
she has a cute ending. I made her nervous when she forgot her cute ending.
I know my ending. On that note, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, for real though, thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed having Miss Daena here. She has been such a mentor to me. One of just such a great inspiration and such a welcoming member of the community. So hopefully you get to see her in more videos.
You want me back?
I want you back, baby. What do you think?
You want to see more of me? That's unless y'all hate me, and if so, I'll just go die.
All right, that was a little dramatic, even for you, babe.
Welcome to Daena.
Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button. I love bringing content and sharing, but just a little subscription makes me feel loved.
Yeah,
and
join the family.
That sounds a little cultish.
Yeah, that was weird.
Join the
We're
family.
not gonna deny that was a little weird.
We can edit that out because that's too much work. I already got to edit out all your cussing.
Balls.
Does that count?
I don't think so.
All right, well, I'm going to have my grape juice. Thank you guys so much for watching. So much love and gratitude. See you on this journey. Until next time. That was fun.
I could have said dolls, balls, damn mother trucker balls. I'll edit out that whole with a little.
I know.
And it'll be
I know. I'm like, oh, this will be fun because that.
Self-care.
Shout out to Nika. Self-care Sundays.
Self-care Sundays. Tanika. Lock eyes with me.
Okay.
Wiggle it out.
Let's
Wiggle it
begin.
out. Wiggle it out.
All right.
Give me a 3, 2, 1 countdown.
I know. I'm like, wait, how do I fucking open the video? I think I know this by
You
now.
got this.
Shut up.
It's my fault.
It is your fault.
I'm
I keep wanting to say hello. Welcome to the house of Witchcraft.
hello.
All right. And you let me know when you're ready.
To this smoke, I release all of the energies that do not serve me, all of the negativities that surround me, and all the fears that limit me. Bitch.
That we have to edit out.
This all the way into the book.